Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Outside the Cinema, your weekly source for cult movie discussions. Your hosts, Bill and Chris, here for the 940th time, I think.
Okay.
It's that many, yeah. It's that many.
Huh. Getting there.
Yeah, it is, yeah, you know. I don't know if I had changed settings on here, and I don't think our live stream is working like it usually does, but that's all right. Nobody watches the live stream anyway, and nobody goes back and watches it afterwards. Actually, that's not true. There's a few.
Okay.
We get a few plays here and there, but I already started the thing. You never know. Yeah, I already started the thing.
Catch on
so
one day.
This week on the show, more Patreon picks. This week, Robert's picks are being featured. So we're gonna get into that momentarily. I don't really have I don't have any housekeeping. Do you have any housekeeping?
Not really, no.
Yeah, same old, same old.
Hey, once the economy's better, go to Spectopia Arts on Etsy and get some stuff.
Bro, what are you talking about? It's the greatest economy in the history of our country.
Yeah. So go get your stuff.
Sure, if you
it doesn't matter what side you're on. We're doing great or when we are doing great.
If you can afford it, go buy it.
Yeah, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
It's great. It's crazy, man. Why is everyone so fucking stupid? I just don't get it.
I don't want to this week.
That's fair. So Robert wrote in. He's been a supporter of us for a long time. Go to patreon.com/outsidethecinema. If you have not already, and you are a supporter, cool. Send us some movie picks. And if you are not a current supporter and would like to become one, join up and send us some picks. As we said last week, the only thing that's able to keep the show on the air is the Patreon. Without the Patreon, we can't justify podcasting in this economy.
Yeah, well, definitely not. But the Dow.
But the Dow.
Don't get me started.
But the Dow. Robert writes in, hey, Bill and Chris, I have had an on and off fascination with ultra low budget, straight to streaming genre fare. So I figured it would be interesting to get you guys' take on a couple of those with two recent examples. First, Rats. Said it like that because it's titled with exclamation point.
Yes, exactly. You have to, and I'm not making fun of it. Yeah.
2024 reminds me of a trauma movie in a good way, and was made in was made in Texas in about about 15 minutes from where he lives.
Oh, nice.
And They Call Her Death, 2024. Neo-spaghetti western-ish. Hopefully they make a good review, since I could see them showing up in a modern version of USA Up All Night.
Oh, 100%.
Thanks for being a good distraction in the not-so-good times. That's actually a really cool compliment right there.
Yeah.
Being a distraction and not being a good distraction in not-so-good times. Oh, I actually really appreciate that. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that might make it onto a T-shirt, since I know how to do that. And I'll send it to you, and then you can put it in the store.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll have to send them one, obviously.
Obviously. So Lee wrote in response to our reviews of Carry On Screaming and the other one, which I can't remember the name of right now. Ooh. It was Carry On Screaming and shit. What the hell is the other movie?
I don't know. Did I like the other one?
We were both into them.
That's the only one I remember.
The Shout was the other one.
Oh yeah.
All right,
so that's what it was.
So Lee says, I'm really glad Carry On Screaming landed better than expected. It's one of the entries that has a bit more universal appeal, at least in terms of its subject matter. Things definitely got cruder as the series moved into the 70s, eventually bottoming out with the truly dire Carry On Emmanuel, which is the only other one I've ever seen. What's funny, though, is that despite all the innuendo and smut, these films were shown constantly when I was growing up, at all times of the day, and they were regular family-friendly viewing. No one batting an eyelid with more than 30 films in the series. God, man, I am tired this morning. Inevitably hit and miss. Some are very specifically British in their humor and references, while others feel more accessible. Carry On Up the Hyber, Carry On Cleo with its send-up of biblical and Roman epics, and Carry On, and then I gotta scroll down here. Or Carry On Spying, riffing on the 60s spy craze.
Right.
Of course, each film was very much a product of its time, and some of the humor hasn't aged well. Brownface, sexism, and other elements that would rightly be considered problematic now. But the cheeky humor seems to let them get away with it. As for The Shout, there's actually narration of the original short story available here. I can put that link in the show notes if I remember. Whether it sheds any more light on what was real and what was imagined, I'm not entirely sure, but it might be an interesting comparison.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool, Lee. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support for the show, the cool movie picks, and then your response. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all cool, baby. There was something else I was going to say.
Okay.
But I don't remember.
Okay.
So. So there. Just join what I can remember to say is join the Patreon. Join the Patreon. If that you hear that clacking, it's me, my shaker. That one. All right. Do we want to just get into this?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
What's going on here? Why is this opening? Why is it opening in I don't know. This is not what I want. I want to go to the IMDb link. What is happening? God damn it. All right, here we go. Jesus. Which one do you have a preference to which one we do first?
How about whichever one the computer lets you go to first?
Fair enough. They Call Her Death. This is the first one to pop up. Is there a trailer here? Probably not. Did we find was I don't actually, you know what? This is an interesting one because this is so up my alley. But like I didn't really know anything about it.
I think the biggest flaw this had is that the poster or cover art for it was too perfectly from that era. So I always thought this was from the 60s when it popped up on Tubi or whatever.
That's true. All right, I do have a trailer here.
I would definitely recommend TurboTax.
Good.
My tax expert, she was amazing.
I can't even silence it. What is happening
here?
here?
All of my questions. It all just felt.
This is the woman they call Death. On the wild frontier of the American prairie, she's out for revenge with nothing to lose.
You that bitch what's been causing all those problems.
That's right. I'm that bitch.
I was just trying to survive like everybody else. Every man for himself out here.
Those men who did this to you, they have to pay.
Hell hath no fury, like the woman they call Death. They call her Death. Pray she doesn't put you in her sights.
Cool. That's a pretty good trailer.
Yeah.
They Call Her Death, directed and written by Austin Snell. Molly Prey is on a bloody crusade against the criminal forces who have wronged her. Her mission strikes at the myth of manifest destiny. But for Molly, with the embodiment of a specter of death by her side, this isn't political, it's personal. Yes, very much a an homage to the ultra-violent spaghetti western of the 70s. And also some other elements of Italian cinema thrown in. There is definitely the Italian horror element, and you get a strong giallo feel with the type of soundtrack and the kind of presentation in it. Now, I wasn't sure, so it wasn't in the trivia here, but they put at the top of this, shot on Kodak film.
Yeah, I read 16 millimeters.
And so it was actually shot on film. It wasn't one of those we made it look like a shot on film.
I mean, the day for night scenes, I think, are your proof.
Yeah. Good point. Technical. Oh, I guess I could have looked at the technical aspects. Eclair NPR 16 millimeter. printed format, 35 millimeter, 5 reel, digital intermediate, 4K master. Oh, it was processed right here in Boston at Cinelab.
Oh,
Cool. And it was shot on a 16 millimeter camera too, the Eclair 16 millimeter, which is a camera I'm not familiar with. Okay. Before we get into the story and stuff, I do want to talk a little bit about the technical aspects of this film to go on with the 16 millimeter film. Now, it's definitely got like a legitimate look to it, but I also feel there's some points where modern day color correction and things that, you know, are commonplace now that I'm guessing were used in this give it a very bizarre look. Almost to the point where there's a number of scenes that look like they're green screened. Now, I don't know if they were or if they weren't. The idea that you're shooting on 16 millimeter film and you would shoot 16 millimeter onto with a green screen shot seems odd to me. But also, I mean, budgetary, maybe it's something that they had to do. I don't know.
it could also be something like we have never watched or will be able to watch all of the Italian and like European Westerns.
No, nor do we want to.
No, but that could be something that the other films did where they like say they comp two scenes together, like
yep.
in the projector or something. I don't know. It seems like with everything they are doing in this, it seems like that would be a huge oversight.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's got to go. Somebody thought, hey, that reminds me of that. I don't know.
Definite possibility.
Yeah.
Definite possibility. If anyone knows or anyone has some insight, let us know. But there was a few scenes that kind of took me out because I was like, oh, I'm like, this looks like they're just placed over a background, which again, I can't imagine they had a big budget for this film. And you make the best of what you can. So sometimes, depending on the situation, this could be a plus or it could be a minus.
It could also be the best version of a rear projection scene.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I actually didn't even think of that.
I didn't until just now.
Well, that's good. I'm glad somebody did.
But that makes sense because those were always different. The warmth of one element to the other, and yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I
that.
guess people can tell what we think of this already.
Well, I mean, yes and no. So starring Sherry Ripple, Jeff Boyer, Devin Garcia, Sean Nyberg. I mean, this is a labor of love. There's no question there. It's inspired so heavily by specific, spaghetti westerns, whether you're looking at your Django films or there was another specific Keoma kind of.
Oh yeah.
But the difference is it's a female lead in this. You don't have it's not a Franco Nero or a hunky man. But the story is very simple in terms of you have Molly and her husband Thomas. He's framed for the murder of a rich lawyer businessman, and it falls into that same storyline where corrupt sheriff, corrupt officials, corrupt politicians, and she's going to take her revenge on whoever she needs to avenge the murder of her husband, because they have the bounty hunter that shows up who's in on everything and kills the husband in front of her. And that's early in the film, and that sets the tone immediately for what you're going to see and what to expect.
Yeah. But the fact that her husband was used as a stepping stone for someone else's career, I think is really like, okay, yeah, you set him up because he used to be a bad guy, is easier to accept than, gold bars and governors and senators.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
We had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
They gave her a really good reason.
No, for sure. And I feel like, and I think this is something we'll say with the other movie Rats too, is that the acting in it isn't great, but for what each character is given, they do a really good job in the like limited role that they're given. Because other than her, there really isn't anybody that has a ton of screen time.
True.
The sheriff a little bit, the deputy that comes in has got a little bit, but mostly everybody else is like, in and out pretty quick. So they're doing a good job with what we're seeing, and there's a lot of like little slight nudges. You had mentioned the one, or actually that's for Rats. I'm sorry, I thought of the one where she's torturing the guy, and I won't tell you exactly what's going on, but that is very reminiscent of. Well, actually, maybe I don't want to give it away because it'll give away what the
true.
What it is, but it's this like Let the Corpses Tan, or what was the Diamonds one that we watched that the guy that Let the Corpses Tan directed. It comes down to it's a labor of love for these type of movies. And, that kind of all started with Grindhouse. I mean, it wasn't the first, obviously, but Grindhouse was the one that kind of really reignited, which is now, 20 years old almost, Grindhouse?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Reignited the love to go back and look at, the 42nd Street stuff and the for better or worse, we got a lot of imitations, and they, there's good ones and bad ones. For me, this one falls somewhere in the middle, I think. What about you?
For a little bit of the runtime, I was annoyed that the actors felt so amateurish.
Okay.
And then I thought about the stuff that they're not spoofing, but pulling from. And a lot of it, this might sound weird, but I get the feeling that they're emulating the voice style of the voiceover actor for the dubbed version, which would vary from the intensity of the live action person there.
That's a good point, actually.
That's weird, right, though?
Yeah, it's not something you would think to do, but it actually makes sense.
Because if you have somebody in a Godzilla movie going, oh no, they're gonna destroy the whole fucking town, and like the Japanese is really emotional, but you have me that goes, oh, Godzilla's here and he's gonna destroy the whole town, ruins everything, right? So I believe a lot of early voiceover dubbing work was in and out. We're gonna get as many of these done as possible. I don't give a shit. That sounded fine. Resident Evil, never heard of it. We're going to keep going. Those lines were fine. And then, because like there's some fight scenes that are really well choreographed. And then we have what's honestly in my top 10 favorite depictions of death now. There was time and talent and money put into that whole thing. And I don't know. I just feel like everything they did was a deliberate decision.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
to have not the conviction in her voice when she's telling people like really demanding things, and having it be just softer than it needs to be. That's how I feel watching dubbed spaghetti westerns. So I don't know. Once you could see the competence of what they were inspired by, I think that's when something clicked in my head, and it was like, oh, let's see how many things we can positively spin on here.
Right.
Instead of being negative, like, oh, these actors suck. Like, well, maybe there's a reason they did it, because Natalie Portman's a decent actress. Not in 2 Star Wars movies, 3, 4, I don't know. But like, she wasn't good. That's really the director.
It's interesting too, because like it feels legit. And one of the reasons why it feels legit is that a lot of the places they filmed are like actual locations. So like the city,
it looked great. Yeah.
The city was filmed in a museum in Kansas called the Old Cowtown Museum, 1865 Museum Boulevard. So it's an entire actual street of like,
so it's well maintained, like it would have been back then.
Right. So it's actual legit, and like they did like the mansion was at it was at the Living History Museum in Missouri, and then the cemetery was a real cemetery in Kansas. So like they did that, and then kept it real. So like
Yeah.
they went out of their way in this to do as much of it legitimately as possible. Like there wasn't a lot of sound stages, which is why other than the supernatural stuff that comes into play, which I'll get to in a second, it's all filmed in legitimate locations, which, you know, fact that it's shot on 16 millimeter film and, you know, it was shot on location, it adds this real air of authenticity to it, which you don't always get in a lot of these movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's easy to, you know, sit inside a house and film Western stuff and then go to the woods.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But to film it in an actual place that looks like or was rebuilt from or whatever existed back then, that's a whole different feel. It echoes different. The lights different. You know, it's all, yeah, it feels different. It feels like they're actually in a place instead of nothing.
So getting back into the film itself, there's a twist in the middle of the film where it becomes a supernatural thing, which is presented in the trailer. So I don't really feel that that's much of a spoiler. But it is kind of like a big right turn, like a 90-degree turn, not quite 180, but like a 90-degree turn that like kind of comes out of nowhere.
Well, see, I was thinking that. And there's the point where Death kind of gives her a nod. Like, all right, go ahead. You know, you continue what you're doing. And then before the full black outfit is full on supernatural, right? So I felt like her having a vision of Death.
Yeah.
And her husband's body, which for a while I thought she actually had dug up herself. But that wasn't the case, apparently. There were hints, but it did feel more like delusional hallucinations. So yeah, I can see how you get
the ending and it proves that like, no, this is all everything you think is happening.
Yeah.
The lead. Let's talk about her for a sec here. Sherry Rappel played Molly. She played Death, or not Death, but they called her Death. She doesn't have a ton of stuff here. She's been in a bunch of looks like indie stuff in and around Kansas. Something called Zombie Beauty Pageant, Zombie Kansas, Death in the Heartland.
Okay, so local stuff.
Yeah, Sherry Rappel, dynamic presence in the entertainment world, captivated audiences with her versatile performance as an actress and a model. Emerging from humble beginnings, she first stepped into the spotlight through modeling gigs that showcased her natural charisma and striking poise. Quirky genre-bending projects like Zombie Beauty Pageant, and she played Heather Z with a blend of charm and grit, and they call her Death. So she's an independent actress, model coming in and doing this. There's something about her I didn't like, though. She didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
Or like poorly or bad, but there was just something about her that I just wasn't buying. Did you pick up on that, or is that just me?
Yeah, no, that's, I think, the line delivery negates any conviction that the character has. You know, I'm going to kill the people who killed my husband. Okay, have fun, I guess. Let me know when you're home. As opposed to, I'm going to kill those motherfuckers that killed my husband. You know, that's, I'm not an actor, but I'm sure one sounded a little more intense than the other.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was. And it wasn't her facial expression. It wasn't her physicality in the scenes or anything. It was, I believe, solely the line delivery that made it sound flat.
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't even really think about that at the time, but now that you're saying it makes complete sense as to why I wasn't locking in.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're supposed to, because she's kind of an ambiguous character. Not good, not bad, but good and bad at the same time, I guess. Hey, if it was intentional, then they did a fantastic job. But I'm going to assume it was.
All right.
It seems very well thought out.
Agreed. All right, you know what? That's great. I don't really know what else to say, so. Chris, do you recommend And what is your grade for They Call Her Death, which is available on a number of streaming sites, Plex, Tubi, Fossum, and Shudder. Available in all those places, Roku channel, so, very easy to find.
Yep.
Yeah, hit me.
I'm going to recommend it, and I'm going to say about a half hour into this, I thought this is a test.
Okay.
This movie is a test as a reviewer. How alert, how aware am I of what it's come from and all that? Because if you watch this as a cursory kind of just surface level thing, it's just an amateur revenge movie.
Yeah.
But the more I watched it, the more I started to believe that this was an homage to amateur movies. And it's made to look like one, but the story, the effects, the blood spurting from that one guy's neck in a fan was perfect. Like, it was the most blood I had seen spurt out at once in a long time.
It's a pressurized Asian.
Yes, which we later then found out was accidental on set. But then there's the other things, like the multiple times. No, that's the other movie. Sorry. Both movies have characters where people get shot in the head a bunch. So I don't want to mix those two up. But there are multiple shots of things, almost multiple takes. Oh, excuse me.
You're excused.
Ooh, I'm getting all. And then it's got that weird 60s psychedelic vibe going too. Not a lot, but just enough when she's tweaking out to show that, all right, she's losing it. And I feel like the people that made this have the same depth of knowledge that the Black Dynamite crew had. So I would love to ask them those questions. Is the line delivery on purpose, or am I insulting you by even asking that? That would just be great to know. Like, what did you do on purpose, and what was an accident, and what was a mistake? I don't know. That stuff fascinates me.
Well, I'm also guessing too, since they shot it on film, they didn't get a lot of extra takes.
Oh, that is a really good point.
Because I don't know personally what 16 millimeter Kodak film costs at this point, but I mean, I can't imagine they were able to get a ton of it. So, I can't imagine they were able to take a bunch of takes on stuff.
Well, let me see. $65 for 100 feet.
Which
$79.
100 feet. How long is that? At 24 frames a second.
24 frames a second. So how big? No, wait. Yeah, no. So it depends. It's 16 millimeters. So I'd have to do math.
Just ask Siri. She'll tell you.
Oh,
hey,
400 feet. Okay. Yeah.
How long is 400 feet of 16 millimeter films at 24 frames per second playback?
Thousand. Was it 20 frames? They both shoot approximately equal amount of time, around 11 minutes. This answer is from Omni.
Thank you. So the one reel is approximately 11 minutes. Film ran about 90.
Huh. Okay. That
can get pricey very quickly. Because, $65 doesn't sound like a lot, but you realize when that's one reel of 11 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you're going to rehearse and rehearse and rehearse.
Film
and you're going to get it exact.
Dry run.
Yeah.
Film once.
Or maybe all the outside stuff, maybe a bunch of audio was lost, or maybe they dubbed just her lines because everybody else seemed fine.
I mean, if they were shooting 16 millimeter film, I wouldn't be shocked if all of the dialogue and everything might have been done afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know much. Can you put audio on 16 millimeter?
I mean, not directly to the 16 millimeter film, probably.
Okay.
But you can definitely do your separate audio.
Oh yeah. With the clapper to get time.
I mean, yeah, I could, well, mostly because I don't know how how that camera works. I'm assuming maybe there might be an in-camera audio, but like,
yeah, I don't know anything about them.
I don't know. I know nothing about it, but I can't imagine that would be, even if there was that option, that it'd be usable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they just did scratch audio and then did everything ADR, considering how it sounds.
Yeah. And the thing is, there weren't a whole lot of jumps. There was a couple times where like tone changed, or it felt like the levels moved a little bit.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it again and really take notes on stuff, because you get those sometimes in the TV edited versions of stuff where the audio sounds like this, but then it sounds like he's in a can for like 2 lines, and it's like, that was weird, but I liked it because it was a strange sound. I don't know. So it sticks out, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some more research. This feels like it belongs in the hundreds of beavers category. Like, it may not be serious looking, but it is very well made.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, that's my recommended. And I'm going to go right now. I'm going to go B+.
Okay.
If I find out more, if more stuff was done on purpose, I could bump it up, definitely.
Okay.
The second watch might bump it up. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm not far off from you. I'm going to recommend it also, especially if you're a lover of 70s cinema, and if you like have even like a passing, fancy for spaghetti westerns. It's all done very legit. It looks legit. It's shot legit. You got to lean into the noise, the noise in the frame, because it's it's 16 millimeter film, and they did day for night shots, and there's definitely like limited lighting they're working with, and you got to lean into that. You got to, if you're not into that stuff, you'll hate this. You'll be like, this seems like the cheapest, most garbage thing I've ever seen. But if you understand what they're doing and what they're emulating, you're like, oh, okay, this is actually this is legit. They know it, like you said, they know what they're doing. They are being, I think, purposeful in everything. I don't think anything happened by happy accident. I do get a little bit bugged by the look with some of the day-night stuff, if it is shot on green screen or if it was back projection, or because it just looks a little off. And the only other major complaint that I have is the added effects, the digital effects that they add for fire. They add there's a little bit of blood effects. There's a lot of actually practical blood effects too, but there are some that are added. Specifically like the fire on the house, and then like the way the smoke was layered. Like, if you're gonna go legit and you're gonna go out of your way to shoot it on a 16 millimeter film, you're gonna work that angle. I get maybe you don't have the money to burn down a house to actually, I get that, but maybe you think of something else that you're not gonna have to add digital effects that aren't gonna sit right.
Yeah. See, I made this trade kind of like, I don't know, apologizing for it. I made this trade of, well, they didn't burn down a tiny house with one huge flame lick over top of it.
Right.
And that's the same as bad CG to me, is when you can absolutely tell it's a miniature. And you're like, oh, that fire is literally 2 matches inside the model. So I kind of weigh them the same in my head.
I get that.
But I understand why you're going your way.
Yeah.
I just totally forgot.
And it's really like, I think they did the best they could, because those type of effects aren't meant to be on that type of film.
Right. Right.
That film was made, 30, 40 years before anyone even thought of doing digital effects like that. So I get that. And like, I can imagine layering that stuff in and like, feathering edges, and like, it's just not going to be the same as if you shot it on digital. Like, I get that. But it does look like you took the time to do all of the other things. Like, maybe rather than burn the house down, you just do something else to leave her for dead or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but it's, in the grand scheme, it doesn't affect that I'm gonna recommend it. And if you're into this stuff, you should check it out. I think they do a really good job with it. And I will give it a B. I did enjoy it. There's a few small parts that, like I said, kind of took me out of it and got a little slow at a couple points, but still really good homage, good understanding of the genre, good use of music, like it all. Yeah, no, it fits and hits. It's good. So, okay, moving on to Rats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, here's the trailer.
Hey, you ever see Steve Irwin's daughter, bro?
Molto bene, bella.
Rafael Tetsky.
That telephone booth is a city landmark. Please grow up, Rafael.
Mom, I made a mistake, but I just got community service, and I'm going.
To move into your cousin Mateo's house immediately.
Mateo is under investigation by the FBI.
The psycho pig who arrested me, she thinks that you're in possession of nukes and are planning to blow up Texas.
I ain't the one under investigation here. This hood's full of perverts.
Perverts? Damn.
How many Hans you found? 5 this week.
A normal suburban neighborhood with normal suburban people living their normal suburban lives, or so we thought.
Totally, utterly, completely out of control.
You better keep your eyes wide open. I'm your American nightmare.
How do you really ever know you're safe? The answer, America, is you don't.
American, all right.
See you next time, Texas.
Yeah, Rats. Danielle Ploger, Luke Wilcox, Darius Autry, Kylie Sykes, Ariel Ash, Jacob Wazowski. Written and directed by Carl Fry and Maxwell Novlansky. This is a film living in the early 2000s, which is kind of nice because I don't think that's an era where we really seen a lot of stuff placed. And it's super like 2002, 2003. They use, metalcore and punk music from that time period.
Oh yeah, one of the characters literally is from Monster High.
Oh, the girl, the girlfriend.
Absolutely, like same colors, like stripes on the leg. Yeah, it's got to be a little wink and a nod to it.
I mean, that's also like what every emo girl looked like from that time period. If you listen to From First to Last, that's
but I mean like specifically the colors and the amount of colors, like to black to purple. It's all the same. It's weird. Exact same color palette. They're both the same skin tone. I just thought that was interesting.
I mean it's early 2000s mallcore. Music from the Blood Brothers, Thursday, Propaganda, First to Last. The main character Rafael's wearing a Some Girl shirt through a large chunk of it. But this is Rafael's story. He lives in Fresno, Texas. He does low-key graffiti art. Gets arrested by a overzealous cop named Officer Williams, who is gutted out for his cousin Mateo. She's the star of this show. Officer Williams, played by Danielle Von Ploger. Like, she is that corrupt cop that has a grudge against somebody and is going to do whatever they can to take that person down, even if it means ruining themselves in the process.
Yeah. This is it starts off as like a corrupt training day kind of cop, and then just geometrically gets worse every time you see them. This whole movie is just, that was weird, and then the next scene is that times 2. times 2.
Yeah.
Times 2, and it just keeps going, and I didn't think it could keep it up. Surprised me.
When Robert said in his email that he imagines as like a modern day trauma flick.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good explanation of like, because this lives in a world with like Romeo and Juliet and like, what was the chicken one? Poultrygeist.
Oh yeah, Poultrygeist.
Like it's weird, like that type of weird.
Yeah.
So Rafael gets arrested. He comes home after getting bailed out. He gets community service. The cop Officer Williams is at the house hitting on his mom and basically getting his mom to make him move in with the cousin that she's got the thing against. And she's like, well, you're going to rat out your cousin. And he's like, well, I'm not a rat.
Right.
And she's like, well, you're going to do this or you're going to, you know, or she's basically like, you're going to do this or I'm going to fuck your mom. like,
yeah, definitely. I don't want to say it's a gender switched role, like they cast a woman accidentally, like in the meta behind the scenes of the whatever, but it really feels like a role where it should be a male cop and a female offender.
Yeah.
And I love it because it's the exact same thing, but it feels weird because it's reversed. And I think that's it initially why she's so off-putting.
It's crazy.
You don't see people act like that.
Yeah.
Like it's like she's on PCP halfway through the movie to the end.
And they do these things with the digital effects where like they elongate people's mouths. And like here's a picture of one of them where she's like all like, and they do that a lot with like the bug eyes, and it's so interesting because you can tell it's shot on the cheap. You know, they use good cameras and stuff, but like it's not, you know, there's no. I wouldn't be surprised if you were like, oh yeah, the Guerrilla Film made this and just like shot in random places without permission, get the shot and get the hell out of there. Like,
yeah, but it looked good.
It looks sharp for sure.
Yeah. There were some scenes where the colors were blown out unrealistically and other scenes where it just totally desaturated. And I think, and I haven't looked up a single thing about this, but I honestly believe that the Black Hole Sun video is about 90% of the inspiration for this.
Oh, 100%. Says it takes place in 2007.
Yeah. Yep, I could see that.
Yeah, this is
I definitely mean that in a good way. It's like hyper reality. But then it's surreal because old people that look like they stepped out of Courage the Cowardly Dog, you know, start yelling about stuff and their eyes start bugging out, but it happens so slowly. You're not really sure you're seeing it at first. And then you're like, oh, that was strange. I wonder if the actor could do that. And then other people do some strange things, but it's only a flash here and there. So like, are you stoned along with the main character? What did we take before we watched this movie? Because no one noticed that but me. And I think it's supposed to give you that off kilter feeling.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I found a production photo, and I can't tell what the camera they're using is, but it's a pretty nice camera. At least an FX9 or maybe could be a red. Can't tell. But they shot on all digital, unlike, and I'm only bringing the camera stuff up because of the way it looks and comparing it to the first film, which was shot on actual 60mm film, where this was, they took their digital medium and they were able to use that to open their world up because they were able to use those effects like the Black Hole Sun style stuff, the buggy eyes, the large mouths, like change the color at will and have it not like, you know, fall apart on them.
Right.
And
like
really create that surreal world.
Yeah, when our main character meets the Monster High character, like all of the colors are not fluorescent but glowing.
Yeah,
in their like happiness in a way, because the world is going to reflect what's going on in his head, and you see that really early.
Yeah,
so that was good.
It's got really that like real cinematic. I don't know if anamorphic is the word. I mean, but you do get like the streaks from the lights, and like that's where you get that kind of almost dreamlike feel.
Yeah.
The introduction of that character takes place when he's doing his community service, and the two of them, you know, strike up a budding romance, I guess, if you will. His, you know, cousin has these people living with him. That your boy Nestor, which was he's a creep.
First of all, Nestor's a name in and of itself, but like he's a squatter, so he's nested. He made a nest, and I love that. And he just answers to it. And he's not the grubby homeless person you would think he is if he's a squatter, because that definitely brings up, you know, a certain rickety
He's been here
cricket
so long,
kind
he's
of
got
look.
squatters' rights. We can't kick him out.
Yeah, but he like has had Botox. He gets his eyebrows plucked.
His mustache is like that perfectly like John Waters-esque, like.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he always has really stupid, but sort of. I can see you wearing that funny kind of t-shirts.
Yeah, yeah.
Like stuff they had made just for the movie.
Right, yeah.
So, he's a weird guy.
What really I think makes this film so memorable is its bizarre cast of characters that show up for a scene or two and then are never seen again. Specifically guys like your boy Billy in the jail.
Yeah.
Where he's just spouting the most random shit to the dude when he's sitting there. There's that line that was in the trailer. He's like, "Hey man, you ever seen Steve Irwin's daughter?" Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he has a picture. And then he's like, "That's my girl, dude. Don't you steer clear of her."
Yeah, and he goes in and out of a really, really strong Australian accent.
Yep. And he's eating the bag. He's got all the drugs that he hid. And he's eating the whole bag. He's like, "Hey, man, you like Molly?" He's like, "I like Molly. I'm going to do some Molly." And the guy's like, "You're in jail. What are you doing?"
What are they going to do? Put him in double jail?
Right, yeah. And he's just like, everyone is just like, "Dude, shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
But those characters that just show up for like a scene here or there is what really kind of makes this movie more memorable. Like the old lady neighbors that are like complaining about everything they're doing, but if you also notice, they're also at the party, like hanging out and like.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The pet pig.
Okay. I thought at first there was a connection between the two movies because
of the pig in the other one.
Because she fed two bodies to the pigs. Because we didn't talk about any of the people that come to fuck with her or anything. So that all should be a surprise. People end up getting fed to pigs because, as Frank Reynolds said, pig will eat anything. Yep. And they contemplate feeding the neighbor, the roommate that hung himself / was serial murdered to the pig for about as long as I thought it would be for them to agree to do it, but then they didn't. I'm like, okay, that's just a weird coincidence.
Right,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
it just happened to happen that way. Or Robert chose to make it happen that way when he chose the flicks.
That's true. One could make you think of the other, definitely.
Yeah, well, because these are both, like you could call this like an homage to trauma films. I don't think that's what their intention was, but like it definitely lives in that world.
Yeah.
And also the crazy jumping around of like the storylines is like that too, because we haven't even mentioned the fact that there's the serial killer going around cutting off everyone's awns.
Yeah.
And they say Hans rather than hands.
Right. And I wasn't sure if this was this is going to be a really weird reference, but a Billy D. Williams Star Wars reference, because he says Han Solo and everybody else says Han. So I thought it was that, but I think there is an answer to that in the movie.
But we don't want to give that away though, right?
No, I don't. But I think toward the end, if you listen to dialogue, you get a hint.
Yeah, you do.
So, okay, good. Then it was what I thought.
No, yeah, I caught that too.
Okay.
But it's just like there's this whole other, so there's the serial killer story. And then when we kind of find out what's going on with the serial killer, they're also like selling nuclear weapons to goth kids that want to better the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird that like, it's almost like, well, how did you think of this? Like, I'm impressed.
It's almost like every conspiracy theory from the 90s mashed into one.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I remember I watched the trailer to this a while back and kind of put it on the back burner. I was like, I'll watch this at some point. And I don't know whether I ever would have got to it or not. So Robert suggesting it actually worked out good because I did enjoy, I enjoyed this. I thought the weird for the sake of weird and the just like really surreal approach to everything, the FBI and then the crooked cop. But then like, I love that when the crooked cop tried to like really fix the cousin, the other cop showed up and like, Williams, get the fuck out of here. Like, you don't even know what you're doing. What the hell's wrong with you?
For half of the movie, I wasn't sure if she was impersonating a cop, used to be a cop, or still is a cop.
Well, then she's also working at the like local diner or
That's
whatever.
why. In uniform.
In uniform.
In cop uniform.
And then she gets beat up by that random girl in the bathroom. That's another character that just never shows up again.
Which, by the way, that was a fantastic fight scene.
Great fight scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how is that in this movie? But because it's such a normal thing, but it's so intense. It's like, oh, those two may really hate each other.
It was great. Yeah, it was great. And then she's sitting at the bar and she talks the bartender into going to buy drugs and guns at the cousin's house. And she's like, I'll give you $500. And he's like, all right, cool, whatever. And then he shows up there and he knows the guy living at the house.
Of course.
And he's like, oh man, he's like, I didn't know. He's like, just so you know, that crazy cop is out there and she told me to buy drugs from you. And then he gets back to the car and he's like, yeah, I didn't do it. And she's like, what do you mean you didn't do it? He's like, oh, I know the guy that lives there.
Yeah, I'm not going to rat him out. And that's the thing. Every quote unquote good guy wants them to be the bad guy and they won't.
Yeah.
They won't rat him out. It's almost like it's a call for, hey, I need somebody to rat on somebody else. 'Cause none of the people that you would expect, nobody flipped on anybody.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's give it a grade. All right, Chris, do you recommend and what's your grade for Rats?
All right, this is a weird recommend because if you may think you're into this kind of thing and you might hate it. This is definitely. I wasn't enjoying this until one of my kids came in and sat down and just started laughing at the shit going on, and I'm like, okay, good. Now I know what's supposed to be funny here, and I can like take it at surface value, face value. Because watching it before, it's like, oh, okay, well now they're going to try to one up this over here, and they're going to do, and then I just stopped thinking about that, and I was just watching Nova enjoy it while I was watching, and it made it lighter because it starts off serious, and like if you don't break out of how serious it is for this kid, you're not gonna see any of the comedy.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot. And then I just ended up just rolling with it and enjoying it. So this is a highly recommended group watching.
Yeah.
One other person is fine, more the merrier, but like I do think you still have to listen to it because then the crazy stuff later won't make as much sense. So it's a movie theater kind of viewing experience. Everybody just watches and you all laugh and you're having fun together.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Then you walk out of the room and you're like, what just happened in that scene? Oh, we'll see the kid with the pig. And then, who knows? Cause I don't remember what I'm talking about there. So, and I'm going to go with a B.
Okay.
This round. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to rewatch this for the year review. So
Okay.
we'll see if that changes.
Okay. I'm right there with you, man. Yeah, I'm going to recommend this also, especially if you're into those absurdist, the trauma movies. Is really just like the ones that come to mind is like Poltergeist, Romeo and Juliet, Sergeant Kabuki Man, like that stuff. That's just like, this is, I'm not going to say that this movie, story wise is like those, cause it's not at all, but it's in that like surreal, absurdist, over the top, what the fuck just happened type thing. And like these little pieces of the story that just kind of happen that don't matter, but they're there.
Yeah.
To just kind of like the crazy woman that gets all freaked out because the rat gets cut in half.
Yeah.
And then just dies in the middle of the park and just lays there and nobody does anything about it.
Nope. Nobody does a thing.
Like shit like that. It's just fucking weird and wacky, and know that going
Like-
into it and you'll love it.
Like brain damage.
Yeah, exactly. Or what's that other wacky vampire one? That's the one that's like, it's just so ridiculous. It had John C. Reilly in it.
Really?
Was it
Vampire Circus?
Yeah, that's just like, it's just ridiculous. That one, I don't think they realized it was as ridiculous as it was.
Riley did.
Yeah, he did.
He knew.
He did. But like, if you know that kind of going into it and you like that type of stuff, you will love this. If you're expecting to watch like some cool hip indie art flick or something, then no, it's like, it's not the right movie for you then. So I'm going to give it a B also. I enjoyed it. I think it's definitely, in that cult movie fare, then it's done in the right way where it doesn't come across as trying too hard. And then I think that goes back to when we talked about the first film today, The Call or Death. The best way to do these types of films is to do them, have fun with it, and know your source material and know what you're trying to accomplish and not try too hard to be like, all right, now, if we're going to do this type of movie, we need to have a ridiculous scene where X, Y, and Z happens. Like, you just got to kind of let it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of builds itself in a way.
Cool. All right. Those are the reviews. Robert, thank you very much for suggesting them. 2 great films to send out there to the OTC universe. Now, speaking of the universe, the universe has brought us Joe back. And he's starting a new series this week, and I don't remember which it is.
Okay.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris. And hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here, and this week Bill took me to a nondescript suburb. He made me watch Fright Night.
Oh, yes.
I'm instantly brought back to a few months ago when Bill made me watch Hatchet 2, where I didn't recognize this guy playing Danielle Harris's uncle and made the still very true statement that I didn't know they did Make-A-Wishes for dudes in their late 60s. Like, his acting was so fucking bad it made Neil Breen's performance in Fateful Findings feel like Brando in Apocalypse Now. I was like, is he Adam Green's drunk uncle who always encouraged him, was like, hey, kid, it would be cool if you put me in your movie. And like, Adam just didn't have the heart to tell him to fuck off, even though he seems like he's the kind of guy that doesn't really have trouble telling someone to fuck off. Anyway, that guy was Tom Holland, who I didn't recognize by face, but reading his name in the credits sent me into a spiral of madness and confusion that would give Franz Kafka a boner. Tom Holland wrote a bunch of shit that I genuinely love. Class of 1984, The Beast Within, Cloak and Dagger, for fuck's sake.
Oh, yeah.
Episodes of Amazing Stories and Tales from the Crypt. Now, to be fair, he also wrote the TV miniseries of Stephen King's The Langoliers. So, while Poe Buddy's nerfed, I feel like that's just as much on Stephen King as it is on him.
I'm not blaming
you. You got to give a guy something to work with. More relevant to my morning right now, Tom Holland, notably shitty actor, wrote and directed Fright Night. I haven't seen this in over 20 years, and that's being nice because it's probably closer to 30. But I distinctly love this movie as a kid in the 80s who got into horror way too young. Let's see if the old girl holds up after all this time. All right, so in a good way, I got halfway through this thing before I even thought to write down a thought. I can distinctly remember as a kid really liking Fright Night, but not finding it very thrilling because there wasn't like boobs, blood, and guts being flung across the screen every 90 seconds.
Okay.
Watching it now, as someone on the cusp of being officially an old man, boy, this movie is fun. Like, it's just a fun horror comedy that, I never really laughed out loud, but it is a comedy. There's comedic elements. Can't really call it a horror comedy. That maybe didn't create self-awareness in the genre, but it did it right. It treats its subject seriously while still having fun with it. Nowadays, we're lucky if self-aware genre films don't display anything other than loathing, akin to if the alpha frat in Revenge of the Nerds were directing the film itself. The point is, they found the balance and they stayed there.
Yeah.
And holy shit, what a cast. What a cast. A handful of years later, he'd have 4 character actors living in his head and change his name to Herman. But for now, William Ragsdale is Charlie Brewster, no relation to Richard Pryor. Chris Sarandon is trying his best to be a sexy vampire guy named Jerry.
Yeah,
Jerry Dandridge.
Yep. That gray
Sounds
coat
more
wasn't
like an
helping
accountant
him.
from Racine, Wisconsin than a cool, sexy vampire man. But what do I know? Jerry Dandridge. I just like saying that in the Midwestern accent. Amanda Bierce isn't yet the annoying neighbor on Married with Children. And Stephen Jeffries as a character named Evil Ed, but somehow confusingly not that Evil Ed. Well, he hasn't dialed 976 evil just yet, though we are not far off. Oh, and, no big. Roddy McDowell is here. No big.
Yeah.
And he's brilliant as a failing actor and local horror TV host Peter Vincent. He's like a third-rate Hammer movie hero, and nobody understood the assignment in this movie better than Roddy.
Oh, yeah.
So Charlie Brewster is our typical 80s teen boy. Just trying to get laid, loving horror movies, wearing corduroy pants and a button-down shirt, properly buttoned, even when he's just hanging out in his room. That was weird.
Yeah, a little weird.
Oh, and a vampire just moved in next door. No big. Moved in next door in his middle-class suburban neighborhood, and hallelujah, this middle-class neighborhood actually looks middle-class. He makes a big mistake in not taking matters into his own hands. I realize that's usually antithetical, because he tries telling his mom and the cops and trying to go out about this vampire problem the same way you would if you found out your neighbor was cooking meth in their basement. Like, congrats, Charlie. You still have a vampire problem, but you also just outed yourself as a fucking narc. Nobody likes a narc, man. He battles with many things over the course of this movie, including ignoring his girl and then wondering why she's attracted to the vampire man, losing his friend who, even though he appears to be an adult human being, his puberty stopped at 33% and is just endlessly buffering. He loses him to vampirism. Believing that a down-on-his-luck horror actor actually has the skills his character had, which is just a stunning display of naivete. That would be like meeting Michael Ironside at a convention, but being concerned that if you made him mad that he could make your head explode with his thoughts. And, of course, notorious vampire Jerry Dandridge. It should be noted that the last half hour of this movie is, in my opinion, one of the greatest third acts in 80s horror movie history. And not just because they managed to make Amanda Bierce sexy. Well,
kinda.
Until her face goes all vampire wonky. She had it for a minute there. But for all the phenomenal practical effects, the action that actually kind of makes sense, and the actual satisfying good guys prevail and win the day ending via sunlight. Here's the thing. The good. Evil Ed's death scene is actually really cool and kind of disturbing and gross. Like, he transforms into a wolf and Peter Vincent stakes him through the heart, and then he's like slowly transitioning back into a person, and it's that cool, gross, like drippy, wet 80s practical effects thing. The cast is fucking great. Again, practical effects for the win, and it keeps a good pace. Oh, and one of the better poster/VHS cover boxes of all goddamn time. If I'm ranking, like, walking through the video store in the 80s and, like, picking a movie based on the cover art, top 10.
Yeah.
The bad. Not much. A few nitpicky things. I could have used a little more action sprinkled throughout instead of saving like 90% of it for the final act, but it wasn't too egregious. Fright Night not only holds up, it was better than I remembered. Like, and it's so fucking 80s. Like, we're panning around Charlie's room, and just like his boombox and the TV and his bed and the posters is just, it's just, if you thought Stranger Things was like a loving 80s thing, you'll watch this and just, it'll take you back. It's going to get a straight A. Loved it. Highly recommend. If for some reason you've never seen it or it's been a while, go back and give it a shot. All I remember of part 2 which is also a movie that I have not watched for multiple decades, was the feeling of being underwhelmed. I'll find out if that stands true next week. Until then, be good, everyone.
I've never been a big Fright Night guy. I remember I did an episode of the projection booth way back in the day, back when Mike White still had that other host.
Yeah.
And like we did Fright Night, and like I was basically like, I don't dislike it, but I'm not a big Fright Night guy. And this guy like came at me like personally.
Yeah.
Like was like, do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
He was like pissed at me because I didn't like fawn all over it. And he's like, well, I've got a Fright Night tattoo. I'm like, well, that was your bad decision, not mine. Like
good for you. Like,
okay.
So what? That was back in the day when people like were taken seriously like that. When it's like,
oh, sorry, I hit the started too soon. My bad.
It's like, what do you mean you've never seen a Star Wars movie? And like people would be like, I'm sorry.
What do you mean? It was like you don't like Fright Night. Like, how can you even review movies?
Yeah, well, easily. I watch them and then tell people about them. It's not difficult.
I remember being like, it's not that I didn't like it. I just I don't worship it like people do.
Yeah. No, different movies hit people differently at different times of their lives for different reasons. Hey.
Speaking of different reasons, here's Scott.
Oh, wait, hold on before you start. Yeah, huh? So there is one piece of trivia for Fright Night that I really like, and that's that one of the they wanted a final monster form for Jerry before the character fully died, and it was a last minute request. So they used a third unused transformation of the library ghost from Ghostbusters.
Oh,
so I thought that was interesting.
That's cool.
I guess it was the thing was supposed to do the whole and then turn into like some bat creature and fly through them, away from them, something. And they decided it was better the other way, and he had a bat thing left over. I just like that. I like that piece of trivia. I like when you can put stuff in different things nobody knows.
All right, cool. Here we go.
Every tree realized, oh, it's time to fuck.
We're going to spew our seed everywhere, and specifically into Bill's sinuses.
Gross.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
With Reverend Scott.
Here comes the shout.
Yeah,
we're in the
shout.
That was the shout.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott, here to tell you all about the movies I've seen lately.
Is he a reliable narrator? Or is he an unreliable narrator?
Most likely an unreliable narrator. But there's nothing you can do about that. But I did promise myself to keep today's segment civil and not get too loud.
Oh, this guy's full of shit. He can't even raise his voice.
Be that as it may, I still have the Herculean task today of not only reviewing one, but two new movies that I've seen.
Bullshit.
No, I assure you, it's true. Let's jump right into the first film. From the writer of Uncut Gems and The Smashing Machine comes Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr. in the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Also, in the tradition of Vin Diesel as Groot, we have Donald Glover voicing 2 full words of dialogue during the whole film as Yoshi. We also have Charlie Day as Charlie Day, but animated as Luigi. Not to mention Marvel alums Chris Pratt as Christian Mario and Brie Larson as Not Princess Peach. Keegan-Michael Key reprises his Academy Award-losing role as Toad. We also have the actual Princess Peach, voiced by Furiosa herself, Anna Taylor-Joy. And of course, there's Jack Black, a.k.a. Steve, a.k.a. Bowser.
Okay.
Now I know what you're probably thinking when you see all the ads and McDonald's Happy Meal tie-ins and this cast of voice quote-unquote talent.
Actually pretty impressive when you think about the fact that there was no budget, really, you know.
Okay, that's good. That's always like, that either helps me like a movie more or appreciate it even more. It depends going in.
I know, right? Being a sequel to a film that only made $1.36 billion, I'm shocked this even got made. But there's no better time than 3 years later to bang out a sequel.
Strike while the iron's hot, right?
Gots to.
But the real question is, how was it? Well, allow me to set the stage. Not to be too much like the first one, instead of Princess Peach being threatened by Bowser and his army and Mario having to join in with this group of friends that includes cameos to stop them, this time we have Princess Rosalina threatened by Bowser Jr. and his army, and Mario must join up with his group of friends that include cameos to stop them. So as you can see, it's crazy how different it can be and still be part of the same franchise.
It's weird, isn't it?
Very weird. But instead of a fun, heart-filled origin story that's full of overcoming obstacles, we have a set piece after another set piece of breathtakingly ornate, colorful, moving objects bombarding your face for 90 minutes straight. We bounce from one place to another place, seemingly at random, as to not lose any kids' attention. I've seen this referred to as Jingling Keys, the movie, and I tend to agree. And despite a slew of Nintendo references that you'll recognize and cameo characters you'll remember you saw one time, even one voiced by the industry's pick for your favorite new actor, Glenn Powell, I still had a hard time keeping interested in this movie.
There are definitely dull points that come through in stretches, and you're just kind of like, why do I care?
That's another excellent question, because unlike the first, there's just not much for you to be invested in this time. Sure, I laughed some, I got the references, I was amazed at the quality of animation and the spectacle of it all, but it just felt way more hollow and more geared at making sure little kids enjoyed it rather than something the whole family will enjoy. You know, like Shrek or any number of other movies, which is a shame considering I thought the first Mario movie did that very thing very well, especially considering the first Mario movie was the first theater experience my younger daughter ever had, and it was pretty great. So that had this sequel leaving a pretty sour taste in my mouth. Sure, she liked it, but I'm the one that had to pay the $600 for tickets and snacks. But don't let that deter you from going to the theater too, guys.
Because I'm actually going to the theater to see a bunch of stuff this year.
I am not.
So at the end of the day, if you have a little kid and they want to see this, the Super Mario Galaxy movie won't be bad for them. Just don't expect to get much out of it as an adult. And I give it, a straight B.
And now for something completely different.
From a Russian director that you've never heard of, who hasn't made anything you'd ever remember, comes They Will Kill You, aka
You Should Leave.
Yeah, that's,
you should leave.
Yeah.
Starring Deadpool 2's Domino herself, Zazie Beetz as Asia Reeves, who, in an attempt to keep her younger sister safe from an abusive father, tries to run away with her, only to have Dad catch up with them, and she shoots Dad in a convenience store parking lot, and in a panic, when police arrive, she flees the scene, instantly regretting that she leaves her sister there. She probably especially regretted it because she got caught by the police and was put in prison for 10 years. Considering it seems like, you know, self-defense because he was kind of attacking them and the dad didn't even die, so it does seem a bit harsh to me.
It was a little weird, but okay.
10 years later, though, Asia is out and at the doorstep of this large, spooky-looking building in New York called The Virgil. Patricia Arquette, aka Lily, answers the door. She's expecting a new maid named Sophia, and she's in luck because that's what the very real ID that Asia hands her says that her name is, which is already odd because most people don't lie to get a job. It's usually the opposite.
I don't want to work, so I'm going to make shit up.
But she gets in anyway. You see, what Lily doesn't know is that Asia's sister, that she's been tracking for the last 10 years with the help of a PI friend of hers, was last seen entering this building, and the rumors about this place are not so good. Hard telling what's going on in here, although the Pentagrams and devil sculptures on the outside of the building might be a good hint. Anywho, after Lily uses a key card to triple lock this massive front door, Asia is introduced to some of the patrons of the establishment. Think of the place as kind of like a somewhere for the richest of the rich to come and unwind and be themselves, such as people like Heather Graham, aka Roller Girl, who hasn't really been in any highly rated film since The Hangover in 2009. I don't even remember she was in that. She was actually quite unlikable in this.
Yeah, I think he's
luckily,
good.
that's the way she's supposed to be. And we also have Draco Malfoy, aka Tom Felton, whose last acclaimed film since Harry Potter was Rise of the Planet of the Apes in 2011. But that's basically the end of the people I know, besides the PI being Angus Sampson, who plays basically the same exact character in the Lincoln Lawyer show on Netflix. Not exactly the cast of Super Mario Galaxy, however.
Bunch of faces you'll recognize in this when you dig into it.
They give Asia a room, which Lily's husband comes walking out of as they enter. Seems suspicious, but nothing seems amiss when they're inside. Asia takes a shower later, and as the room fogs up, the words, "They will kill you," show up on the mirror. Now, if I remember correctly, that's actually the title screen for the movie, which is kind of a cool way to do it. But besides being the title screen, it's actually also a warning. And as Asia gets out of the shower, the fog's actually fading, and immediately she wipes off the mirror and never sees the message at all. Before Asia gets settled in, she does lock the door and shoves a chair under the handle. She can feel that someone's probably watching her through the vents, but she eventually gets tired enough to fall asleep. Doesn't take long for a large figure in a black cloak with a pig face and doing lots of heavy breathing comes in from a hole from behind the fridge and starts to creep on the sleeping Asia, including a close-up of him licking her foot, which Chris has assured me is not weird at all.
And you think it's a huge thing, and it's not.
I'll take your word for it, buddy. Anyway, eventually Asia wakes up, but there's no one there. But then, surprise, the figure is in the room still, and Asia proceeds to beat the living shit out of him. But it's not long until multiple cloak figures with pig faces get into the room too. Asia retreats to the closet, and the group kind of laughs because, well, there's nowhere to go, and so they bust open the door, only to find Asia kind of curled up like a ball. But then she gets up slowly, emerging with a fucking sword. What proceeds is some of the most fun, pressurized Asian-style blood and gore action violence that I've seen in a long time. It gives you a visceral reaction over and over again. Despite the theater being only about half full at best, you could hear the audience reacting to this shit. And this is just the tip of the bloody iceberg. There's shotgun blasts, explosions, a flaming axe, dismemberment, disemboweling, some insane choreography, and that's just what's on the surface. What's beneath the surface is why they wanted her there, what really happens in this building, all the secrets these people have, and I'm not going to spoil it. At first, you'll be asking yourself,
is all of it real? Is none of it real? And does any of it even matter?
That's a good question.
Right. Like, is it all just a story?
Of course it's a story made into a movie, but this story elevates the violence from just being a copy of the contract killings from the beginning of Deadpool 2 to something more supernatural. But honestly, you don't want to know more than that, and I'm not going to tell you. That's all you get. Tough shit. Don't ask. I'm basically ending the review right here. Deal with it. Just change the subject already.
Wow, okay. But anyway, how are you?
I'm all right.
At the end of the day, They Will Kill You may not exactly be reinventing the wheel here, but it does stick to its over-the-top, explosive, bloody kills and extreme violence. And it has some interesting, unique twists to end up with something that I didn't expect to like as much as I did. I do recommend you go see it, assuming you're into that kind of bloody, violent shit, and I give it a B+. Okay, wow, you got double the reviews today. You're so lucky. But after I refuse to spoil They Will Kill You, I can guess that I kind of have to give you some grades on your reviews just so you don't fucking cry. Last week, you covered 2 more Patreon listener picks. And to make matters worse, they were fucking British films. And despite your better judgment, you covered them anyways.
Society says we gotta be nice to everybody. Common sense says no, you don't.
First was The Shout, aka
How can yell so loud people die?
I think it looked cool, especially for a British movie, so I give it an A-, and the review gets a B+. Second was Carry On Screaming, aka Not Young Frankenstein. As much as it probably made British people laugh 60 years ago, I can't do better than a C+. But your review gets a straight B. Okay, that's all I have for this week. So until the next soulless, large corporate conglomerate A-list voice-acted CGI special sequel that could have used more pressurized blood explosions, peace and love, guys. Outside the Cinema, the only podcast so good you can't handle it.
Well, you can't hear it, because if you hear it, you'll die.
That sucks.
Cool. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. If you are a member of our Patreon, send us movies. If you're not, sign up at patreon.com/outside the cinema. Follow Chris and I on Instagram at Cthulhu, at OTC Bill. Make sure you're heading over to Spectopia Arts and spending the money that you don't have because the government wants to take it from you. Or just not give it to you.
Yeah.
Either way, if you have the money, buy some stuff from Spectopia Arts.
That'd be great. Or Channel 27. It's the same.
Channel 27 too. Yeah.
We're slowly working on that one.
We'll get it. You'll get it. I'm not worried about you.
We're getting there.
All right, guys. We'll be back next week with more reviews. Have a good one.
Bye.